Teresa Bryce Bazemore, and I'm the president and CEO of the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco. I grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia. My mom was a school teacher. My dad worked for the Department of the Navy, repairing nuclear submarines. One of the interesting things that people don't think about for someone at my age is that I grew up in a segregated elementary school. When I went to the University of Virginia, I was in only the 7th class of African Americans that were admitted to the university. I had to make sure I put myself out there and I didn't worry about those issues. I didn't let those things hold me back. If other people are going to try to limit me, I don't need to be limiting myself.
Hi, I am Deborah Awai, and I am a longtime friend of Teresa. Teresa and I met early in our college careers. In fact, the first semester that we arrived at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. What I observed very early in our relationship was just a desire to try new things, to explore new ideas. Extremely curious, extremely motivated, wonderful student. She was brought to UVA through a scholars program that identified some of the best and brightest kids.
I actually thought I wanted to be a doctor at that time. A lot of it was because I wanted to help other people. And I volunteered to work at the university hospital in the operating room. And let's just say that seeing it all up close, I thought, I might need to rethink this. I decided on law school. It was a huge eye-opener for me. I really started to see the issue of homelessness. I started to understand that that was something that we as a society needed to do something about. But it wouldn't be until later in my career that I would really have an opportunity to sort of focus on that. When I left law school, one of the things I had discovered was real estate. I joined a firm called Piper & Marbury in Baltimore. And it was interesting because it's now called DLA Piper. It's now one of the largest firms in the world. While I was there, I also was able to get involved in some other sort of activities where we were giving back to the community. One of them was a high school program working with a high school in Baltimore where the dropout rate was 50%. And we helped sponsor a program where about 30 kids were identified. Many of them hadn't been out of Baltimore, so we rented a bus and we took them to Washington. It was really about exposing them. And what was so exciting about that program was that all of those kids graduated and all but one went to college. If they can see what the possibilities are, it can help them move into those possibilities. But you have to kind of see it to believe it. Also, during that time, I thought, I think I'd like to be inside of a company where I could be involved in the strategy of the company going forward. I used to encourage people, particularly lawyers of color and law students of color, to go into corporate law. I've been in so many rooms, especially in a real estate and mortgage businesses where I was the only woman or the only person of color. People will say, well, I want to be a labor lawyer because I want to help people who've been discriminated against. What about being a lawyer inside the company that helps make sure the discrimination doesn't happen? When I think about mentoring people, I also try to get them to think about ways to broaden their horizons, broaden their networks. That's why I talk about getting involved in the trade associations. So for instance, being involved in the Financial Women of San Francisco is a way to get to know other women that are in the financial sector, and you can learn from them. One of the things that I got involved in a lot was the mortgage bankers. It allowed me to have a network that was much broader than just the folks that were at my company. And those Relationships also led to some of my job opportunities later. So you just never know how having that network can enhance your opportunities down the road. The Prudential was one of the companies that was an option, and they had the third largest mortgage origination business. This was a business about helping people buy homes, somewhere they can raise their families and have stability. And so that work really was what helped me start focusing on this issue of racial equity in the mortgage business, and that being something that continues to be important to me. One of the jobs that I took in the late 90s was to go to what was Nations Bank at the time. It is now Bank of America. And I joined the bank to run the legal department for the mortgage business. But a few months after I got there, I was asked to also work with the Community Development Bank. The Community Development Bank was doing apartment developments in lower income areas that also had services. It was another just wonderful opportunity that was making a difference. I decided it was time to go do something else, and I went to Radian as the general counsel of the holding company. I was asked in 2008 to be the president of the mortgage insurance business. I was the first woman to run a mortgage insurance company, the first person of color. I'd always thought I would want to get to the business side, but I never knew what the path was going to look like. And that was the path that sort of presented itself to me.
My name is Joan Opp, and I am the president and CEO of Stanford Federal Credit Union in Palo Alto. We are members of the Federal Home Loan Bank, and I met Teresa when we interviewed her. We were searching for a leader. The bank had had a number of transitions, and we needed somebody that could be a leader, collaborate with staff, build culture, build succession, represent the brand of the Federal Home Loan Bank, and Teresa fit that profile fabulously.
It really appealed to me because of the mission. Our primary mission is to provide liquidity. The members of the Federal Home Loan Bank, our owners, our banks, credit unions, insurance companies, and CDFIs, or community development financial institutions. We have another mission, and that mission is affordable housing. And so we take 10% of our net income each year, and we use it to do two things. About 35%, up to 35% of it can be used for down payment assistance. And the rest of it goes into a competitive grant program that's used to help fund things like affordable housing, apartments, homeless units for people to rent or to live in, homeless units for veterans. So it's an array of things. Some of it can be used for single family housing that people can buy, but we're always looking at what are the things that are needed. We've done pandemic assistance, wildfire assistance. The bank is just very involved in the community in many different ways.
I think it's been a real building block, but public service has always been at the heart of who Teresa is from a very, very young age. Those priorities never changed. What I see now is a real commitment to expanding lending, to finding opportunities for more affordable housing, for really focusing on ensuring that home ownership is a priority for those who have not had those types of opportunities.
Hello, my name is Lenny Bazemore. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a real estate developer here in Los Angeles. Anyone who's in her proximity, family, friend, co-worker, they see it very clearly, how tuned in she is and how much she's aware of her surroundings, right? She's very aware of her blessings in life. And so she feels compelled to give back in multiple ways. So giving back is in her blood. We both believe in God, and her personal relationship with God is at the forefront of her life. And that goes into her compassion for other people.
What would you want to say about how proud you are of her winning this award? Could you share me a little bit?
First and foremost, I would say congratulations to someone who has shown me what fortitude really is, someone who's been a leader, a very approachable leader. I'm personally extremely proud of her because I've seen the journey.
What do you hope your legacy will be?
Yeah, you know, the issues around housing, around affordability, around racial equity, and the wealth gap, those are all like really important, and they're huge thorny issues. I hope my legacy is that I will have put some things in place and done some things that help move us forward in helping to create a more equitable society, and a society that has the dignity of having a home or a place to call home every day.